story of the United States Navy's Frogmen is a story of adventure, of brave men against the enemy and against the sea. The work they did in the Pacific in World War II stamps the Underwater Demolition Team sailors as giants of physical strength and towers of moral and physical courage.
The USN Ships, short for U.S. Navy Bureau of Ships, was established during World War II to oversee naval vessel design and maintenance, playing a key role in modernizing the fleet. The Frogmen of the USN Ships, officially known as the Navy's Underwater Demolition Teams, or UDTs, were elite divers performing dangerous underwater missions. These missions often required them to operate in hostile environments, clearing obstacles for amphibious landings, and gathering intelligence. These men were pioneers in underwater demolition, paving the way to modern-day Navy SEALs. Due to the nature of their work, they needed reliable equipment, including wristwatches that could withstand the rigors of underwater operations. Brands like Hamilton, Bulova, and Elgin were assigned with providing the Frogmen with timepieces that could withstand the harsh underwater conditions. Known as Canteen watches, for their distinctive screw-down crown secured by a chained cap, these were the first mass-produced dive watches, sharing parts with the A-11 field watches made in the same era and marking a milestone in military watch history. Being one of my favorite small brands I'm grateful to have an ongoing relationship with, I have lost count on how many Praesidus watches have been featured on this channel. We've seen many of their field watches, their chronograph, and their sports watch, and now it's finally time to take a look at their dive watch, the A5 UDT. Praesidus is an American brand, focusing on telling stories and bringing history back to life through timepieces worn by heroes during time of crisis. Praesidus have been making the A5 UDT with a black dial for a couple of years now, commemorating the Frogmen of the Underwater Demolition Teams. Two new blue dials were added to the collection, the blue Sunray we have here today, and the Abyss blue that has a unique textured Fumi dial that actually makes you feel like you're staring into the abyss. Any one of the A5 UDT colorways costs $645 on a vulcanized rubber strap or $700 on a beads of rice bracelet. I got the watch on loan for review and will be sending it back to the company once I'm done with it. The familiar packaging gets a black themed sleeve this time. Here is everything you can expect to get with your watch, including the 2 years metal dog tag warranty card. And here are the measurements. The width of the case is 38mm, its thickness is 12.5mm including the added height of the crystal, the distance between the lugs is 20mm, lug tip to lug tip is 45.8mm, and the watch weighs 93 grams. Water resistance is 200 meters. The dial is a deep shade of blue, with a nice sunburst effect. As A11 dials were used on the OG Canteen watches back in World War II, we can see the design and layout replicated on this watch. Those include 10 minutes marks outside of a minute track with circled and loomed 5 minutes marks, as well as an extra dot distinguishing the 12 o'clock position. On the inner circle we find big and bold Arabic numerals made up of baby blue colored loom. Praesidus is printed under the 12 and A5 UDT is printed above the 6. The hour and minute hands are baton styled with a crude brushed finish and centers full of that baby blue colored loom. The seconds hand is needle shaped with a black painted lollipop counterbalance and no loom. The loom is listed as Swiss Superluminova, but I have to admit it's a bit of a disappointment. Even when charged with my UV torch, it still isn't that bright to begin with, and it fades out pretty fast too. That's specifically disappointing considering the fact that this is meant to be a dive watch. Covering the dial is a double-domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating applied to its underside for increased readability. It's a nice and sleek shape of crystal, not too tall, and I'm glad they didn't go for a sapphire-coated K1 mineral crystal like they usually do. this is going to be far more durable and resistant to scratches. And besides, it looks really cool and gives the watch that vintage flavor with those nice distortions to the edges of the dial. The case is constructed of 316L stainless steel, and it was made to make the watch as robust and utilitarian as possible. It's a single solid chunk of it, treated to a nice satinized brushed finish all around. It's not often that you see a 38mm watch that is a behemoth, but the design of the case, together with the chained cap guarding the crown, makes it just that, an absolute beast. The side profile is bulky, and to compensate for that, the lugs angle down to force the watch closer to the wrist. They are also drilled for quick and easy strap change. To reveal and operate the crown, you have to unscrew the cap, like you would a Canteen. It's almost comical how small the crown looks once you screw the cap off. The case back too screws down into place and features the brand's name, the model's name, your unique serial number, some specs, the usual assembled in the USA with imported parts you'll find on all Praesidus watches, and the cool engraving of the Under Water Demolition Team's Frogmen insignia. Also mentioned on the back of the watch is a Swiss automatic movement. This is the Soprod P024, a high-beat automatic movement based off the ETA 2825-2, made by a subdivision of the Festina group. It's not the first time we see it used by Praesidus. A modified P024 is found in their A11 Type 44. It sports 25 joules and beats at 28,800 beats per hour, giving the seconds hand that smooth 8 ticks per second sweep. It has 38 hours of power reserve, an Inca block shock protection system, and the date function that doesn't get utilized on this watch. The blue A5 UDTs come on a color-matching tropic-style vulcanized rubber strap. I'm not sure what the deal is with vulcanized rubber, but it feels very similar to FKM rubber in its high quality and how it feels to the touch. It comes equipped with quick-release spring bars and a substantial stainless steel pin buckle, brushed, polished on its edge, and branded with Praesidus' name. On my 7-inch wrist, right off the bat I can tell you, this watch wears much larger than its 38mm of width would suggest. That means that it would be perfect for larger wrists as well, maybe even more so than smaller ones. It's actually quite comfortable, though a bit top heavy, so you might want to wear the strap tighter rather than loose. This new blue colorway is probably the least legible one out of the A5 UDT lineup, but it still is very legible. And telling the time is very easy to do at any viewing angle and any lighting condition. Here are a couple of different strap options. I always find blue dials tricky to match straps with, but let me know what you think of these combos. The cons list today is very short. In fact, it's not even a list. It's just the loom today that I feel needs to be improved. Other than that, it's just a well-made watch. If you like this style of retro divers and feel yourselves connecting to the history behind it, it's a great watch to add to your collection. It's a robust beast made of stainless steel, put on a good quality strap, with a nice double-domed, scratch-resistant and AR-coated sapphire crystal, and of course, an automatic Swiss movement. It's a unique design brought back from the pages of history, with a modern touch in the form of a blue sunburst dial. The A5 UDT feels like it can take a beating, especially the crown being protected by the Canteen cap. If you're looking for a tough and waterproof tool watch that can handle rough conditions, or just like the history aspect of it, the Praesidus A5 UDT is a great option for you to consider. You'll find the link in the description of this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my affordable watch collection, and hit the notification bell for more affordable watches related content.
The story of the United States Navy's Frogmen is a story of adventure, of brave men, of proud men. The men of the Underwater Demolition Teams,